Winter is coming and started to get cold, so it's time to winterize a trailer. So we're gonna look at a different step, easy step to winterize a trailer. So let's look at the intro and get on with that. All right, so winterizing the trailer, the RV in general. We're gonna go to a different step. It's a super important thing to do. Obviously, when you live in a cold area, you don't want to have any damage on your trailer. We're gonna go step by step. You're gonna be able to follow along the video. I'm gonna do chapters as well on the video where you're gonna be able to refer to. Anybody can do that. It doesn't require any special tools or anything. So first step is cleaning the RV, inside and outside as well. I know some people do that as their last step. We do it in the first step, and I'm going to explain why. So basically, you clean the RV on the outside, making sure to wash it properly. You clean the RV on the inside. You do the general cleaning. You remove everything that is inside. You clean the mattress, not the mattress, but the sheets on the mattress, everything that is required cleaning, so that for the next season you'll already be set for, just putting back the stuff in the camper and move on to your next adventure. So this is why it's really important. Some people might skip this, but don't forget this step. It will just get you set much faster for next season. It could be important to remove, like I said, bed sheets and stuff like that. I know that some people will, take the cushion out of and bring them in the house. We don't. We leave them in the camper, and we never had any issue. Obviously, you can take the mattress in. Well, maybe you can, but it's takes a lot of space. So we leave that in. We just take the bed sheet in and clean that and be ready for next season. Another great important thing for that step is cleaning your roof. We have a video dedicated to that. That's going to be posted sometime after this video was posted. I'll add the link in the description of the video, and there will be probably a card popping up somewhere on the screen, so you can refer to that video on how to clean your roof, which is also an easy step. The most important thing of that step is looking at your joints. So the sealant, the silicone joint that you have on the roof, that's the most critical part. You want to make sure that all of those seams are intact, or it's not cracked. If you have any repairs, that's the time to do it now, because you don't want any water infiltration that can occur over the winter. So that's first step, cleaning inside, outside of the RV, and don't forget to check out your roof. All right, second step is to rinse and clean your holding tanks, so the black tank and the gray water tank. We have a dedicated video for this because we did ours last week, so you can check out the card somewhere on the video or look at the description. The link for the cleaning tank video will be in there. Something obviously very important, you want to make sure that you don't have too much stuff left, or actually nothing left in your black tank especially. Ideally will be the ideal place to do that will be obviously a camping spot where you have sewer on your ground, on your lot. If not, you can look out for your city. Maybe some have a dump station somewhere that you can use. So second step, rinse your holding tank. All right, so third step is pretty easy. Let's make sure that the fresh water tank is empty. And just to be sure that there's nothing left in there, you're gonna have to kneel down under the RV and find a tube like that where there's a little valve attached to the fresh water tank, and just basically open the valve and make sure that everything is dripping. Fourth step into winterizing your RV, make sure your water heater tank is empty. So ours is in the back of the trailer. You just have to locate yours. Sometimes they're on the side. And it's just a matter of opening that little trap here, setting it aside, and then you just have to locate this thing right here, which is the plug of that tube that goes into the tank in order to protect it. So it's basically just unscrewing this and you'll see water will come out. Watch out when you start unscrewing this and you remove it, because water will come out maybe with pressure. So depending on ours is easily located, and I can access it just using a 1" and a 1/16 socket. Yours might be different. Obviously, there are different model for water heater. Sometimes it's located in a place that you can't really use a socket like that in order to remove it, but there are special tools that are being sold in order to access those things easily. So depending on your water heater, obviously this might not work, but you'll have to deal with your model. So we're basically just going to unscrew that and you'll see the water coming out of it. So once you remove the plug, you'll see that it's attached to the anode, which is basically used to protect the water tank. So instead of the interior of the tank being rusty, it will heat the anode. As you can see, it's a little bit damaged here. That's what we want, because we know that if this is attacked, the interior of the water tank is not. So if the anode is still good, you can reuse it for next year. Just make sure to clean and wipe down this portion in your water heater and just drop it in there so you can use it. If it's too damaged, well, make sure to buy a new one. It's something that is pretty cheap. You can have like 2 for $20 on Amazon. So it's not something to cheap on. Make sure you have a good one on there so that you keep your water heater tank properly and functioning and working properly. Step 5, the water heater bypass. Now this is the fun time to find where you can access the water heater tank in your RV. Ours is in the back under the bunk beds, and there's a little board like that we had to unscrew in order to access the water heater. So depending on where the tank is located on your RV, it's normally like in a place that it's not that fun to reach, so kind of like that, a little bit hidden out of the way, but normally accessible, obviously, because you need to play with the valves on this. So first step is to locate your water heater tank, and then Enro's gonna give me the camera and open up the light because it's pretty dark in here. As you can see, now like we said, outside there's different models of water heater. Ours have a different setup depending on the RV make. Ours has 2 valves, one here, one here. Some RV may have another tube between the 2 here with a valve in the middle. So depending on your model, you want to check that out. Basically, the idea is we want to make sure that when we are going to put the antifreeze liquid into the plumbing system, we don't want any of that to come in the the water ether tank. So the way it works, those valves here, I got two valves, one at the bottom, one at the top. When they are turned, when the handle is turned toward the water ether like this, it means that the liquids coming in is basically going in the water ether. So what you want to do is turn those valves toward the pipe, both valves. So I'm going to do the bottom one as well. So just turn it in the way of the pipes. So basically now nothing's going to get in the water ether tank. The water is going to flow through that extra tube here between the two that we have, and we're going to keep our tank empty from all the water, the antifreeze liquid that we will put in the plumbing system. So that's it. That's the only thing you have to do. Play with the little valves. Make sure they are not toward the tank itself. Step 6. This one has multiple mini steps in the big one, which is basically making sure that the water pipes are empty. There's no water coming out of the water pipes anymore. And first step that we're going to do in order to do that is opening every faucet that you can have. The kitchen, the faucet in the bathroom, the shower, activate the toilet as well. If you have a bigger rig and you have a washing machine in your rig, make sure to check out those pipes as well. If you have an outdoor shower with faucets, make sure you open these as well. Make sure that you try to empty the water all around. So we're going to proceed with inside and we're going to go outside after. So we're making sure that you open the cold and the hot water, making sure that there is no water coming out anywhere. So that's good. There's nothing coming out. I'm going to go in the mat room, doing the same thing with thing here. Nothing coming out. I'm going to activate the pedal on the toilet. No water at all. And we're going to do the same thing with the shower. There's a little bit of water dripping, but nothing much. So I'm going to leave that like this, and we're going to go outside to make sure that the water is out of the pipe outside as well. All right, outside there's two things to do and make sure that your pipes are empty. And the first thing is near your city water connection, where you connect your water for the RV, there's normally a little rubber washer with a screen thing. You remove that, and once you remove that, you'll see inside here there's like a little switch, a little pressure switch that you want to press on that button, and you'll see that water will come out. Make sure that you press on that, make sure that the water is coming out completely, and have some sort of a rag to wipe it down. So that's the first thing. Make sure you empty that portion here. So the other step to do outside to make sure that the pipes are totally empty is to find the low point. The low point will be somewhere at the back of the trailer or in the middle of the trailer near, it can be near the sewage pipe, but it will look something like that. So it's two little extension of tubes that are going straight down. These are the lowest point in your RV for the water system. And basically there's little plugs, those little white plugs like this, and you just need to unscrew those plugs, let the water drip, make sure there's nothing coming out of it, and you can replace the plug, put back the plug in place, and that will make sure that you have completely empty those pipes. So an extra little step that you can take to make sure that your pipes are totally empty of water is to blow air into them. Most of people It's not necessarily required, but if you want to make sure 100% and take that extra step, it's up to you. There's that little thing that Chemco sells where you can connect the hose to the city water connection on one side and a compressor hose on the other side with a little valve that obviously when you open it is going to blow air into the pipes and push the water out. The one thing you want to make sure though is don't push too many air pressure into the pipe. You might want to regulate your compressor and set it around 40 to 50 psi. That will be more than enough to push the water out if there's any left without risking of damaging the pipe itself. All right, step 7 is to now put the antifreeze liquid into the plumbing system. And for that, we're going to use the water pump that is inside the RV. So first step, you have to locate the pump, and it would normally be around or under the main sink area in the kitchen, somewhere hidden. Normally there's like a little board like that. And once you remove that, 2 screws on each side, once you remove that, it's normally located behind. We already had that removed because we're using this as a storage area. And as you can see, the pump is not there. Ours is really nicely located. Had to remove, like you see, a drawer here. And there is our water pump. Now, depending on the system, you should have something that looked like this here, that little valve, and there should be a tube connected to it. Once you turn that valve, right now, it's, as you can see, it's in line with the red pipe in order to use the water system. If you turn that valve, it will use the tube that is connected to the outlet there that you normally will plunge into your antifreeze gallon. But the maker of our RV was pretty cheap on the length of the tube that he gave us for that. That's the tube that was connected to that valve down there. And obviously, as you can see where the valve is located, there's no way that I can plunge that in a decent way into a gallon to pump the antifreeze into the system. So that is definitely something that we're going to change down the road eventually. In the meantime, I went to a RV dealer, and they sold me this little tube right here, which is basically, I'm going to disconnect the inlet of the pump, and I'm going to replace it with that tube that I'll be able to, at least with this length of tube, plunge into the gallon of antifreeze, and we'll be able to pump that into the system. So you can see the tube here that is totally disconnected, the red one, and the clear tube that is at its place, just so that it is easier to see. It's the same thing on the other side. On the flow jet pump here, there's a kind of a blue thing there, down there. You just pull on it, it releases the black fitting that is there. Just pull on the black fitting, it will get the tube out, and then you just push the new one in and replace that blue thing. You push that blue thing back thing in, and it will lock the tube in place. And now we're ready to go. All right, so as you see, we have pressurized the system with the water pump. You saw the water pump taking the liquid out of the gallon, and now the system is fully pressurized, full of that antifreeze liquid. And now we're going to be opening the faucet one by one, making sure that there's no water coming out, but there's that pink liquid that is coming out of the faucet. As soon as you see some pink coming out, you can close the faucet and move on to the next one. Don't forget the outdoor faucet if you have some. Make sure that you don't forget these, and make sure to do both cold and hot water. Well,
For the toilet, make sure to leave a little bit more liquid in the hole so that it protects the rubber gasket so it doesn't dry over winter.
all right, so once you've done the whole thing with the faucet, we're gonna add a little bit more right into the hole of the sink, both sink and the showers, same thing, just to make sure that the P-trap is full of antifreeze liquid. So just a tiny little bit, just like that. And with a rag, you're gonna wipe out the mess that you've done with the antifreeze liquid. Make sure that it's nice and clean so that it doesn't go and stink your and stain, not stink, although that thing doesn't smell that good, not stain your white sink, although ours is already stained pretty bad. All right, so the last step of this big step, told you it was a big one. Don't forget to close, to shut off the water pump. We open it earlier on in order to be able to use it in order to pump the antifreeze liquid into the system. Now we must not forget to close the back. And if you switch the valve to that tube that was going into your antifreeze gallon, don't forget to replace it as it was before, using the line system of the pipe system of the trailer. Or if, like me, you had to disconnect one of the tube in order to connect one of these things, don't forget to disconnect this one and reconnect the one that was connected there before, obviously, you started to winterize the trailer. All right, step 8, it's a short and easy one. If you have any battery operated equipment inside the trailer, I do recommend you take those inside in your house. Remove the battery while they are in storage mode, and you'll put them back next year when you come back for camping season. It will prevent any leak into the equipment that can damage the equipment as well, and you won't have any bad surprises next year for those things. Um, some people are taking the electronics like the TVs. If you have a TV in your trailer, some people are taking it in. We always left ours there, never had any issue. So it's up to you if you want to take it out or not. One other thing, if you have blinds like that, make sure that they are all closed all around the trailer. The sun, if it comes in with a long exposure, it can discolor your trailer, the inside of the trailer, maybe the counter, the walls, the units, the cushion, whatever is still in the trailer. It's what happened with our saying basically when we took the trailer. Probably that this window wasn't shaded, and as you saw, it discolored the sink pretty bad. If you have a solution, by the way, for that, let us know in the comments, and we'll take it. Last thing for the inside of the trailer, your fridge. You want to make sure that you leave it open. You don't need to open all the way. Right now, we still have power in the trailer, but once we get outside and we cut the power, obviously this thing will shut down. There's a little lever here that you can use normally on the fridge to make sure that the door won't close all the way back. It will leave just a little gap like that, and it will allow your refrigerator to breathe. Basically, that's what we want. When we shut down the power, this thing goes off, and a fridge that is closed for a long period of time well, it might start to smell something and bad odors over time. So make sure you leave this thing open while your trailer is winterized. Almost forgot something for this step. If you have a max air on top of your shower vent, you might want to let the shower vent open a little bit, just a tiny little bit, so that their air flow can come in the trailer and it will help prevent from moisture. Speaking of moisture, you can use these things. You can buy this pretty much everywhere, Amazon or convenience store or whatever. Damp Rid. It's basically a moisture trap that will trap the excess moisture and will attack this thing here rather than your trailer. So you can, depending on the length of the trailer, you can have 1, 2, 3 maybe. One in the front, one in the back. And these things are working pretty good. Step 9, the propane tanks. You want to make sure that both of them, or if you have a single tank, that's the same thing. Want to make sure that the propane tanks are closed. There's no need to put them inside. Actually, there's a place that you cannot put them inside the building, so check the regulation on that. But you really can leave them on the trailer. If not, you can put them under a balcony or something like that where it's ventilated. But leaving them on the trailer is perfectly fine. If you have a box like this, it will protect the propane tanks from, ice and everything, making sure that the connection, the tubes are staying nice and clean. But also, if you don't have this thing, I highly recommend to get one. It's not only protecting the tanks from the element, but from road debris that can occur while you are moving with the trailer. So make sure you get one of these things. It's only like a plastic cover that it's attached by the bottom to the frame. I already removed that before starting to shoot the video. So only thing is to close both valves on both our tanks, and they're going to stay there for the winter. For our hand, I'm still going to remove the tanks because we have sensors underneath it that I want to get in, since it's battery operated. Just like we said, inside it's a battery operated apparel, so we're gonna get it in, and I'm just gonna replace the tank after exactly at the same place, and they're gonna stay there covered by the plastic cover for all winter long. Step 10, removing the batteries from the trailer. You want to take those inside and keep them warm for the winter. Most of the trailer will have these kind of battery box with a strap around it. So just remove the strap, pull the two lids on the side, the two things on the side will allow you to remove the lid and obviously access the battery that is inside the box. You will either need a screwdriver or a little wrench to unscrew the battery post and disconnect the wire of the trailer. Ours is a bit different. We have a custom box for our battery. This is a future video that we'll see on the channel. We needed something a bit special that was not fitting in those boxes, so you'll see that a bit later. So disconnect the batteries, put them inside the house for the winter. Make sure to plug them on a charger, a smart charger, not like the cheapest thing that you can find, but get a good smart charger to make sure that your batteries will stay and maintain a good level of energy throughout the winter. We're using the Noco 2x2. It's a rather expensive charger, but it's a really good one. It can also repair battery, so they say. We never had any issue with that, but it seems that they're able to do that. So get the batteries out, plug them in your house. There's no need to leave them connected to the charger for 6 months in a row, but at least make sure that those batteries can maintain their charge using a smart charger. Next season, you just have to replace them back in the trailer and you're good to go. So this is the charger that we are using, which is the Noco Genius 2x2. Comes with good cables with good clamps like that you can put on the battery to charge. We have a 2 battery unit. They are selling 1 battery unit, 4 battery unit. They have different amp as well that you can push into the batteries. I choose a lower amp unit so that it slowly charges battery, which it's supposed to be better. And what is interesting about this particular smart charger, and I don't know if it's readable here, but it takes lead acid 12-volt battery, AGM 12-volt, lithium batteries 12-volt, and as well 6-volt battery. So one does it all. Like I said, we're using two battery output because we want to be able to cycle between the RV battery, and as well I have another battery for the electric motor for the Zodiac. But you can choose and probably get a cheaper version if you only have one battery to deal with. Plus, these are they have also a repair mode that supposedly can repair dead or damaged batteries. So never had to deal with it, but these are pretty highly rated as a smart charger. Plus, you can mount it on the wall somewhere. So pretty good choice, but there's obviously other solutions out there, but that's the one we're using. Step 11 and the last one, and it's an optional one, is to cover the trailer. We do cover it every winter. I know a lot of people don't, and it's up to you. We're going to cover it. We're going to do that in another video though, so I'll link it in the description once the video is online. If you do cover your trailer though, don't cover it with something that will damage the trailer. Those big tarp that are plastic tarps, it won't let the trailer breathe. It will most likely cause moisture and bad stuff on your roof, and it might also scratch the side of the trailer. So there's specifically designed covers made for RV. This is the one, the kind of covers that you want to use. So as you wish, like I said, it's optional, but if you do cover it with the right stuff. All right, so let's recap the different steps to winterize your trailer. Step 1, clean the inside and the outside of your RV. And most importantly, do not forget to check your silicone joint and seam on the roof. Make sure nothing is cracked. This is the most important thing. Step 2, clean and rinse your holding tanks. The gray water tank, and the black water tank being the most important to rinse. Step 3, make sure there's no water left in your fresh water tank. Open that little valve on the bottom and let it drip. Close it back after. That's the easiest and quickest step in the process. Step 4, empty the water heater tank. So either in the back or the side of the trailer, find it, remove that plug, and make sure that there's no water left in the water heater. Step 5, do the water heater bypass. Make sure that those little valves are not pointing toward the water heater tank so that it doesn't fill with antifreeze liquid. Step 6, make sure that your plumbing system is empty. There is no water left in those pipes around the trailer. So open the faucets, find the low end point of your tube. You can even blow air in the pipe to make sure that there is no water left at all in the pipes. Step 7, pump the antifreeze liquid into the plumbing system using the water pump of the trailer. Step 8, make sure that you remove any battery operated equipment from inside the trailer. Close the shade inside the trailer so that the sun doesn't affect the color inside the trailer, and leave a gap for the fridge door so that the fridge can breathe once it is closed. Step 9, make sure to close the propane tank. You can leave them on the trailer with the plastic cover like we saw earlier on, but make sure that they are fully closed. And step 10, take the batteries, disconnect the batteries from the trailer, put them inside the house where it's warm, and make sure to connect them on a smart charger during winter. Step 11, as we said, it's totally optional if you want to cover the trailer or not. So that's it for the different easy step in order to winterize your RV. Hope it helps you in some way. As you can see, it's not that difficult to do so. It takes, if you do it in an order, it's something like half an hour. So pretty quick process that you can do by yourself, and you'll know much more about your RV doing so. That's it for today's video. Like always, if you're not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Like the video if you enjoyed it, if it helped you in any way. Share it to anyone you think it can be helpful to. And like always, we'll see you on the next one.